go.
Let's go back to 2007, back when online video consisted mostly of raw viral content. You know, like people lighting their kitchens on fire, or this dude at the zoo, or this dude dancing. Everyone in the world had a platform. As technology and tastes evolved, so did a slew of unique internet personalities seeking fame, fortune, and a place in people's hearts. I could do a whole series on this era, and you never know, I may someday, but today we'll be focusing on a very specific group of internet creators from that time which were associated with an entity now known as Channel Awesome. It all started with a character created by Doug Walker named the Nostalgia Critic. He's an over-the-top reviewer of nostalgic films who exists on YouTube as well as his own website, which at that point was named thatguywiththeglasses.com. In 2008, after a number of copyright issues and channel takedowns from big studios, the Critic began calling out another popular reviewer character, the angry video game nerd, created by James Rolfe. This resulted in a huge internet uproar and several badly choreographed battles between the two creations and their worlds. In 2009, the two clashed for the final time in the That Guy with the Glasses 1-year anniversary brawl, this time each being joined by several internet personalities and Mati from Captain Planet, dividing allegiances as either reviewers or gamers. Considered the first film in what I'm now dubbing the Nostalgiaverse, this brawl was filmed over one day in Chicago and consists mostly of character introductions, badly choreographed fighting, and references to obscure weird things like big-lipped alligator moments and Super Mecha Death Christ 2000 BC version 4.0 beta.
Oh shit!
As a film, well, it's rough but watchable. It's not like it defined any genres or anything, but as a fan of some of these creators, it was really cool to see them duke it out for internet supremacy. Due to the fleeting nature of internet celebrity, and some factors that we'll discuss later, it hasn't aged well. The plot wraps up with an agreement that their feud is pointless, and the real enemy is of course bad movies and video games. The Nerd and Critic agree to do crossover reviews, as do the other Channel Awesome members. Thus the Nostalgiaverse was formed, spinning off into multiple vlogs and crossover reviews all over the internet. The next year, 2010, brought us the second film in the Nostalgiaverse, Kick-Assia. We once again follow the Critic and some of the members of the Brawl, as well as a few new faces and some missing ones. Again, the fleeting nature of internet celebrity. This time they're invading the real-world micronation Molossia, which is located in or near Nevada. I'm not sure how that works. Anyway, the reviewers take over the micronation as the power goes to the Critic's head and the other reviewers begin a revolt against him. Given a 4-day shoot this time, the whole thing feels a little more polished. Relatively speaking. Each of the reviewers are given a bit of character, and there's even a semblance of plot here and there among the fan service. It has its fair share of references to things like Santa Christ, which is Doug's brother Rob wearing a beard and robe, or Dr. Insano, which is Spoonie wearing goofy glasses and a lab coat, but overall the non-referential comedy hits a little bit better. You can tell a lot more effort was put into the planning and execution compared to the first year's brawl. Moving on, we have Suburban Nights. For the 2011 anniversary, which was shot over 4 days once again in Chicago, we followed the Critic and some old faces, as well as some new faces, and a few missing faces, blah blah blah, fleetingness of internet celebrity as they perform a live-action roleplay in pursuit of an ancient gauntlet which turns out to be a Nintendo Power Glove. All in all, it's on about the same level as Kick-Assia in terms of production value and writing. The slapstick is a little bit better, and you can see some of the reviewers actually becoming decent actors. There were a number of behind-the-scenes issues having to do with scheduling and weather to the point that this film almost didn't get made. Instead, we would have gotten an improvised Murder on the Orient Express-style mystery, which could have been cool as well. I consider this and Kick-Assia the peak of the Nostalgiaverse. They're just dumb fun fan service, and there's nothing wrong with that. It actually kinda works with the rough filming style and loose feel. In 2012, we got to Boldly Flee, which is a dumb slapstick fanservice movie, an anti-copyright propaganda piece, and an attempt at somewhat serious filmmaking, all wrapped up in a 3.5-hour space opera which took 6 months to write. We once again follow the Critic and the Channel Awesome crew in the 6-shoot day direct sequel to Suburban Nights. I mentioned Mati from Captain Planet a few movies back. Well, he's been around. He died at the end of the last movie, and this is basically the search for Spock. There's also a subplot about the copyright issues that many creators were dealing with at the time. It seems to retain every reviewer from the previous entry in the series. Must have been a good year for reviewers. I'm actually kind of impressed. Anyway, after about an hour of setup, the Critic and crew set out to space to search for Mati, who is located in a giant plot hole. They run afoul of idiotic versions of the Emperor from Star Wars, Zod from Superman, and Turl from Battlefield Earth. This is actually my biggest gripe with the film. I mean, I get that those villains are running gags from the reviews, and there's no debating that Spoonie's version of Turl has a spot in all of our hearts, but the copyrighted characters just feel kind of out of place and could have been easily altered to be more original while still being as fun. Otherwise, I mean, it's a 3.5-hour watch, it's strong in moments and weak in others, it definitely feels more like a professional film than the previous ones, with proper sets, lighting, and special effects. It's definitely the most ambitious film in the Nostalgiaverse, but it is a bit disjointed and kinda lost that little bit of heart the previous films had, which may have been intentional given the plot. After this film, Doug, who's been writing and directing for each special, announced that there wouldn't be another massive collab video in 2013. What we got instead was an anthology called The Uncanny Valley. I'm not gonna bother reviewing it, because it kinda sucked, and tonally it doesn't really fit in at all with the rest of the Nostalgiaverse. There's no fan service, the comedy falls flat, and there's very few recognizable faces from the site. Pass. At the time, these were really lighthearted, fun films for fans of the site and its creators. Looking back upon them, the overall theme, as I mentioned, appears to be the fleeting nature of internet celebrity, at least if you're familiar with the site. If nothing else, these films are something unique, very much a product of the era they were made in, and a reflection of the internet culture of the time. So as I ponder my own future as an online video creator, let's take a moment to remember some of the reviewers who appeared in these films, but left the site for various reasons. Once again, this was Fade Dragon Tier. Thanks for watching. Peace out.